And away we go. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, this is War Commander Unshackled. The update is currently gone live. The game isn't up and won't be for a good hour or so. And let's find out what Kixeye didn't fix. There was a lot of shit that went wrong last week. Some of it was patched during the weekend on a Sunday during a... what is it? The no downtime fixes that Kixeye like to push out from time to time. And it's one of those things. So before we go ahead and dive into the update notes, or rather the lack of, we'll go ahead and introduce the panel. Of course, right at the end, we have Fear the Peel. We have Champ. We have Jack Sparrow. We have the wonderful Skipjack. King. We have the lovely Lady Warrior. We have McAven. We have the real Slim Shady. We have Mr. Lionel Richie himself, and of course, myself, the indomitable, the immortal, the whatever the fuck everyone likes to call me these days. The drunk, the alcoholic, the fat cosplayer, the gay cosplayer. That's the newest one. That's the newest one on the list. So whatever labels you'd like to add to that, whatever the fuck you can come up with at that particular time. So how are we all doing tonight, ladies and gentlemen?
Bored.
Tired.
Peachy fucking keen. How about you?
Bored.
I'm always doing splendidly.
Well, to quote a famous English comedian by the name of Ade Edmondson, who played a guy named Vivian in a TV show called The Young Ones, I am very, very sober and very, very bored.
Love what they did with the technical basis. Maybe I'm the only one.
It's a Cliff Richard fan I liked.
That's good too. But we've gone a little bit off there, so we'll go ahead and
we're on a different track already.
Yeah, we've gone straight off the beaten track. So we'll go right ahead and dive into the update notes, or lack thereof. And unfortunately, there's a lot of stuff on that board that isn't done. And of course, the following changes and fixes applied for the 15th of November update. Invasion, which we'll go over in a minute. The invasion briefing. The Shadow Op 45 base has been updated. Levels of units have been lowered, and lowered the amount of frontline defender units. 2 weeks late. Attack range tooltip for ground units has been updated to include the ground-to-air bonus. Ground units gain 20% additional range against airborne targets. That's another tool. That's a tooltip rather than a fix for anything, to be quite frank.
Nice that they're trying to get more information out for the players, because that's one of those things that's hard, it's like one of those gotchas when you first start playing and you don't realize that's a thing. So it's nice that they're including that in tooltips.
I'm gonna go straight to the point. Where's the fix for the base problems? The fix for the missile bastion got pushed out already. What else am I missing here? Snowbear is still a thing. That's still a thing with the workshop problems. There's still a lot of issues in the workshop. They managed to fix the mine factory through that one update they did at the weekend. What else am I missing on that list? There's a master list of shit that's wrong.
Well, repairs being paused, that issue where your stuff's not getting repaired properly in off time or when you leave your base. You've got builds being paused or halted or terminated. Upgrades paused, halted, terminated. Yeah, it's a laundry list of things that have been going on in the last, conservatively last 4 weeks.
Well, conservatively the last 4 weeks, but I haven't. Those issues haven't been around for a long time, and whatever they've done recently, they brought them all back.
Yes.
And I'd quite like for them to fuck off again.
Well, that's
quite soon.
I call it a marketing problem, but you listed 2 fixes that are not on the notes here, and it would be so much better if we had more notes to say we're fixing things instead of, we have all this problem from last week's show. We get on, we look at the patch notes. There's 2 lines of patch notes basically, and then there's like 2 or 3 lines of patch notes that we know, like the mine factory one that was fixed. But I guess we're sharing with the community. Hey, that's awesome that I got fixed, but I think
where's the information for it?
Yeah, so I kind of and then too with this update, I'm sure there's going to be quite a few more updates when the game goes live that we say, oh wow, they got this to fix, and they improved that, but it's just sort of not hitting the marketing sort of good vibes of the game, and it just puts out bad vibes.
They've completely missed the mark on this one. I'm sorry, but they have.
Well,
Yeah.
maybe
With a lot of the stuff that they've done isn't good enough. The game is still barely playable.
Yep.
I refuse to do any of the tech bases. I refuse to do the token bases until they fix a lot of the shit that's going wrong. Some of the bases can't even get loaded because all they do is they just sit there. They either disconnect or they flash crash you. And by the time you've done that, 6 minutes have already gone. You've got 15 minutes to do the rest of the base, and you're rushing to get shit finished. The game should be played. If you rush shit, then by all means, you are liable to take repairs. But if you take it slow and steady and use your units correctly and in the correct manner, you can do it for little to no repair, if you're careful.
Yeah, I was trying to take a quick break from work, check into the game, and it took me like 5 crashes. Well, I mean, literally, it's just crash, crash, and then 15 minutes later, I finally actually get into the game for my 5-minute break to see what's going on in the game.
Well, I tested it. I have a top spec computer that I built myself, and yet I can load on my phone. I can load the game faster on my phone than I can load it in a browser.
That's atrocious. That's
Yeah, it is.
ridiculous.
But it's truth. Same thing on my phone.
I don't mean to jump in on the high horse here, but when the Pandora offer was out a couple days, like a day ago, I was like, hey, well, $10. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna buy this. So I tried to buy it through the top off where you just buy it outright, and the game's like, nope, can't buy it. And then I tried to buy it through the add more gold, and the game's like, nope, can't add more gold either. So it's like, that's where it's like, these little glitches and problems are like, it's cool. But then when you hit the, the gold, and then I sent a support ticket, and they're like, contact Zolia. And I'm like, that's your core gameplay right there. If I can't pay for the game.
No. I will speak to that directly. That is exactly the truth. That's the reason Kicksite has separated themselves from the gold purchases to that corporation. They've outright, thrown that over to that company. So certain things they're going to shift that blame.
Responsibility is to put the code into the game to make sure it's working and to make sure you get your gold and your units. They can't just say, "Oh, that's a Zolia problem," and then because I've contacted Zolia, they're like, "There's nothing we can do." So it's like that's two sides of the same coin that says it's not working. So
That's another thing entirely to added to another level of issues and problems. I mean, Kickstarter, I've heard this thing happen before, and if you've got a purchasing problem in any way, shape, or form, you'll go to CS, and then CS will tell you to contact Exola, and then Exola will tell you to contact Kickstarter, and then you'll be back and two between the same two pair of fucking idiots while you try and get the issue resolved. And eventually one of them will cave because they'll get sick of hearing the support request, to be quite frank. That's what happens. And then one of them will say, well, this is an issue, and this is an issue, and this is a problem, and we're sorry, here's a bunch of stuff. Speaking of the Pandora offer, while we're on the subject, why couldn't they have done that a month ago, 2 months ago, 3 months ago, 6 months ago, a year ago?
Well said.
Yeah, I felt really bad.
Why put it out 2 weeks? 2 weeks after I got it, and the tech. I think the only thing I'm missing on there is one specific piece of gold tech that I'm not spending 99 gold on.
It was over $1 million.
It's not worth it.
Unit and the tech, and then with the 3 other tech, it was just like, 2-3 million experience for free. Well, for $10. That's why I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get it.
I grinded my ass off getting the 1.6 million damn gold medals to buy Pandora and the wing drones with medals. Tell me I'm not pissed off.
Well, see, It's I mean, that's a really bad play on their part, because if they would have offered it first, you guys would have bought it, and then you would have grinded out the experience for something else on top of that. So it's like you get a double win. But instead, you get the Pandora first, because that is a pretty awesome unit right now, and then you go out and get whatever else you want later. But they sort of now people are like,
I don't really mind that offer, because it's something I brought up before, where Kixeye has put an offer out with just the unit without the tech. And this unit they brought out, it was a unit and you get all the tech with it. And that's going to really help out a lot of, I mean, for lower level players that are willing to spend the $10, it's going to help them out tremendously.
Oh, this is not a package issue. And package is put together very well. This is just a timing issue. It was just the timing was kind of off-putting. It could have been released earlier on. There was a middle ground there. They waited just a hair bit too late to release it. They could have done it a little earlier. Certainly, we didn't want it.
If they'd done it a month ago, I'd have bought it on the spot.
Yeah, a month ago or a month and a half, 2 months ago. Yeah, but it's the. I don't want them assuming, if they're listening, I don't want them assuming that we want it to go back to that bullshit of we get it in the event, it's put up, a month later, and then they put it in a package deal. That pisses me off more than anything. But at the same token, you don't want it put out, 6 months down the road. You got to find that happy medium, which is not up to us to decide. It's kind of their thing.
It's a pain in the ass. It's a pain in the ass to deal with Kickstarter's crap.
Yeah.
And I'm quite sick of dealing with the same set of crap that It's the same with the Kickstarter and the Jericho and the Jericho tech. They put all that out the week after.
Yeah.
Have marketing lost their goddamn minds at this point?
Yeah, well, the kick to the jaw, like you say, I mean, they'll have a special event, they'll have you grind, they'll throw it into an event store at a ridiculous amount, and you'll get frustrated and you'll burn through and you'll get it, and then the event's over, the use it or lose it pops up, and hey, look, for 99 gold, you can have what you just toiled for 2 days collecting XP to pull out of the gear store, out of the event store, or medals to pull out of the gear store. It's just, it is a slight. It's at the same token. I mean, I hate this. I hate feeling like I'm playing devil's advocate and I'm not kissing ass. No, I'm not kissing ass, and I'm not trying to condone but I'm just trying to give an understanding and a perception. They are and have said they want to have multiple venues in which players of all player types can collect and get these tech and these units. You can't, as much as I pigeonholed to the way that my game style is, what little I play when I play, you have to look at a perspective of the occasional login player, the collector player, the person who's willing to grind like Daba or Fear the Peel, and the player like you who's going to break it down to a manageable point and then toil over an extended period of time and finally achieve it, and then it feels like a slap in the face when you've put in an exorbitant amount of effort and intellect and time and breaking down the basis that you got it to a manageable point, and then you've put in the effort, and then all of a sudden, oh, now here's an easy way to do it. The easy way really wasn't for you. The easy way was actually for a different style of player that to them, for example, Micaiah here, it was beneficial.
I'm gonna kick myself for doing this. It's something that got brought up the other day, and by all means, I don't have any problem with players doing it this particular way. But constantly using the Omega Jug isn't helpful.
No, that's not skill. It's not. That's taking a lot of skill out of it.
Let me. It's not taking a lot of skill out of the game, but it also is on the same point. By all means, use the Omega Jug for whatever you do, and put your stuff out there. But if you're going to do shit with the Omega Jug and only exclusively use the level 4 Ardra and the Omega Jug, put something else out there as well for the guys that don't have the Omega Jug.
Oh yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
I mean, there's plenty of other ways to do stuff. I mean, I've proved it myself on multiple occasions. It's not been the greatest, and there's always repairs incurred for various reasons. Either I've not entirely got the base down to a level or something along those lines, but still, it's dealing with a whole bunch of crap for a kick in the balls at the end of the day. Because that's exactly what some of this shit is. It's a giant kick in the balls. And I'm pretty sick of dealing with it at this point. And Kixeye are on their last legs with me at the moment. Because of the shit they keep pulling constantly.
Are you talking like Juggernaut versus like when you use the Herald, the base has to defeat the Herald, so any other air unit you put into the base gets destroyed. Like my Furies get one shot. Any unit I throw at a base gets instantly destroyed to combat the Herald, so it makes all the other units worthless. Is that what you're kind of talking about?
Well, it's not really. It's just like if every single player goes to that singular unit and singular tactic, it takes
2 units.
It's
2 units in the game.
You mind
that
if
have
I
come out?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. You mind if I chime in on this? I mean, because we were kind of talking about this. I mean, because like there's players with different types of styles. Like myself, I'm not really a PvE player, and once I find a way that I can take a PvE base, whatever it may be, Shadow Ops 70, I'm gonna stick to that method. And I'm not really the type of player that toils around with different units. I probably could be, but I'm just really not that good of a player unless, I have to check all the videos on YouTube. But, if I find a really good method with the units I have, I generally stick to that method. And I'm just stubborn that way.
I've seen you were one of the first people to post a video on the new Shadow Ops 70 base when it came out.
Yeah.
And it was pristine. And it was absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, maybe Champ's answered the question there and Burns there. Maybe we need to change the bases more often, and rather than having one style for 3 months, everybody uses this or everybody uses that.
This is why I appreciate City's video so much, because he'll go on a base with several different types of units, and it'll help multiple players with that. That don't necessarily have the Omega Jug or the units I use or some other high level player. That's why I appreciate City so much. I mean, he puts out some good stuff.
Yeah, he does.
So.
He does, and I always give him props for doing that. He goes out of his way when, in reality, he shouldn't. He doesn't have to, but he does it anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a service to the community, though, and I appreciate that too. I'm the same way Chimp is. I happen to have all the toys, and once I find a way that works, I stick to it. And I swear to God, anytime I try somebody else's method, man, I take it in the shorts. I tried Chimp's method over mine, lost my blackout. Doesn't I agree. A lot of these bases are geared. They seem to me to be geared towards players that have all the toys, and if you don't, you're host.
Yeah,
that's more the issue that I see with it. There are certain times when you can look at a base design and setup and the weapons that are being thrown upon us and say, look, this is specifically geared toward a person with the blackout or the Omega Phantom or whatever, because the amount of AG or the amount of AA in there just shows you which way Kixeye's mentality was on this base. And believe me, I agree. Player gets to a certain proficiency and the whole point of this is maximum results, minimum effort, and minimal losses. I mean, that's the cornerstone of this gameplay is you want to maximize your results, get as many, especially the way that this game is developed with some toiling over parts, toiling over collecting metals, toiling over, it's collecting, toil. So you have to get multiple bases knocked down in the time that you have to sit behind the computer screen and play. You have to minimize your losses and maximize the results so that you can continue to use that platoon across the world map and defeat 5 or 6 or 7 70s, you know, so that you can not only get your part for your new air unit, you know, your Shadow Ops unit, but also collect tech. Because, you know, and because of that, I totally understand and agree, and I don't want to, you know, like, again, I don't want to play devil's advocate on that side, but I agree that going in with your skill set and what works best for you as a unit is always going to be the best way to do it. But like you're saying, what City does, he goes in on his own and comes at it from different angles with different units on many occasions, and that is admirable. It's beyond admirable. It's a necessity, and that's what I think I get upset with, is seeing 30 videos and it's all the same 2 units or 3 units taken into the base, and though there might be nuance changes with the direction they attack or what they target first, and that then translates to maybe a little bit less or a little bit more damage, it doesn't necessarily give a player without those 3 units, let alone level or tech, it doesn't give them an option of what, going back, Janna would do, or what, you know, other players would do, where you don't have a Juggernaut, let's bring in, you know, something else.
Right. There's a quick thing that I want to bring up real quick. The blackout.
Yeah.
There is a current issue with the blackout, and it is considered game manipulation. I'm not going into the discussion as to what causes it and what it does. Those people know who they are. Specifically, one moderator by the name of Cybertoad. Now, I said earlier on I wouldn't drone on too long about this, not on the show, but to somebody else I was talking to prior, that I wouldn't drone on too long about it, but this needs to be said. When a Kixeye moderator is actively using a game manipulation and then videoing the manipulation and saying it's a free way to do this base, this base, this base, and this base, you are manipulating the game. That is unacceptable. If a player did that and a player got caught, that player would be punished in some way, shape, or form. Moderators are no exception to the rules. They are still bound by Kixeye's terms of service as well as several NDAs. Using said game manipulation and videoing it, although those videos have since gone private for whatever reason, because somebody got caught with his fingers in the jar, that needs to be addressed. And I know Kixeye will listen to the show, and I will put him high on my hit list, because he hasn't been up there for some time. But this needs to be sorted, and it needs to be sorted pretty fucking fast. Whether Kixeye slapped him on the wrist in private or whether he should be publicly shamed for it. In my opinion, he needs to be... It's that one scene from Game of Thrones where they're dragging that one down the street. Shame. 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 That's exactly what needs to happen. Because if there isn't any reprimand, like there wasn't any reprimand for those cunts who cheated their based expansions, there was no reprimand there. If there's no reprimand for the site, what's to stop anyone else from doing... Anyway, what's to stop me from cheating tomorrow knowing I'm not going to get reprimanded for it? Right. Absolutely nothing, other than my own sense of morality.
Yep.
Yeah. I was going to say...
Exactly it.
The
morally
one thing
and ethically, I'm bound to play legitimately, like I always have. And it's unacceptable that people are getting away with this. And they shouldn't. It's as simple as that.
It is really a nice personal choice when you don't, you know about something, but you don't use it because you know it's wrong. And that's what, we should praise that.
It's the same with the Legion glitch there. I mean, I know it's a long time ago, but nobody uses. Well, haven't been used on me in a long time. You know what I mean? But you never used it.
My personal philosophy has always been to disseminate knowingly disseminate exploitive information, tactics, is the same as selling, giving, or or disseminating cheat codes. It's the same as, you know, breaking the TOS and cheating yourself. To give the information for the purpose of teaching others to exploit is not at all acceptable. To expose an exploit so that it can be fixed, or to expose an exploit so that others are knowing when this is used against them as a defensive thing, is admirable to a point, but that's not disseminating how it's done. That's not, you know, proclaiming, do it, use it, do this way, this will help you get this, and this done. There's a very, it's not a fine line. There's a very broad line that you don't cross when it comes to that with me. And Unshackled, for that matter. I mean, I'll bring this company in.
It's exactly the same with me. I have a no tolerance policy on cheats, manipulators, players with abusive behavior. I hold a zero tolerance policy. I held a zero tolerance policy when I started Unshackled. I held a zero tolerance policy in my 2 years of tenure with being a PV arbiter. I hold a zero tolerance policy, and I still hold that zero tolerance policy, and that's never going to change.
And that's
so don't expect it to.
That's the reason why I think a lot of us like Unshackled and like to hang out with you, get everybody here, because of that. That it's, you know, it's a huge difference. It's been it's very important right now.
It's an extremely big issue with all of the shit that's come out. All of the stuff that KickSci has done, and then all of a sudden you don't see. Well, I mean, it's not as prevalent as it used to be, because cheating and roaches were rampant at one time or another. I mean, you couldn't play the game one day or another without getting hit by somebody who was hacking something somewhere. And it's not a topic that I like to bring up, because it just gives them a rope. Mm-hmm. And maybe if I give them enough rope, they'll hang themselves with it.
No, but we don't want to return to those days. That those were miserable days where it wasn't worth. There was no fun.
It wasn't worth leaving your base some days.
Mm-hmm.
To this day, I don't have defenders in unless I'm online playing the game because of those days.
Yeah. A lot of people are the same way. I think that's why a lot of people do not have defenders, because it all got out of hand there for the longest time. A lot of people walked away because of that.
I mean, unless something gets done about all these problems real soon, it got to that point where I was right at the beginning of March when I walked away from the game. It's right back at that point. A couple of months ago when I walked back into the game, I hammered out what I could do. I was doing stuff every day. I was enjoying the game. I was hitting PvP. I ran through Warpath like a motherfucker. And then all of a sudden, it's not a steady decline. It's bang. I just don't want to play. I log in once or twice a day, check what's going.
You're right.
And then log off.
It seems a bit stale now, just even there now, even the chats and even our hangouts, it just seems that something's changed. You know what I mean? It's like a death in the family, and you mean, or you feel like there's an earthquake about to happen. You're just waiting for it to fall.
Yeah, it's KickSci's next. What's KickSci's next natural disaster?
Exactly.
Is it going to be something small, or is it going to be Fukushima?
It's coming up to New Year now. You know, surely there's part of the community and ourselves, you know, and everybody that plays the game. You know, could we not have like a discussion or about like suggestions to go on the right path? You know what I mean? Because we rule the game basically. You know what I mean? In a nice way. You know what I mean? You know, and put suggestions out there, and maybe start a new Brims of Sweet Clean.
Yeah,
you know, and the start of January and that there, and have a big discussion out there. You know, and put points, suggestions, what you'd like, what you don't like. You know what I mean? And try and get the fun back in it again. Even our raves that we used to have, we haven't won in months.
Yeah, I don't remember what day it was, but was a couple of days ago. There wasn't jack shit on the map.
Saturday.
And was it Saturday?
It was Saturday because I
Yeah,
happened to have a little bit of free time, and I was going to play, and I was checking the posts, and City said, well, no videos today because there's nothing out here.
Yeah, there was completely nothing to do on the game. So I was like, what the hell am I supposed to do? I just went out and, I think I did some PvP and stuff, but even that, it was boring. I was kind of doing it by myself, but I know some people with a sick head are going to take what I said. But never mind.
Ready, post on the
You do realize I've just
Champ, the idea wasn't there till you opened your mouth, and now I'm just going with it. Duh.
My shoe. Okay, never mind. There are those days in the game where there's just jack shit to do. You might as well go play Farmville or something.
Yeah.
The weekend should be the bread and butter. It should
exactly
have the major things that can happen where you have a little bit more time to repair, rather than rushing things. You're back home and maybe start at 9 o'clock at your time, and you get 4 hours repair and something, or your Titan goes. Game over.
I agree 100%. Starting an invasion on a Thursday and ending it on a Saturday morning. I work Thursday and Friday, so I essentially have whatever time I wake up on Saturday morning until it ends at 10 or noon on Saturday afternoon to try and get one of those top 100 slots.
I'm with you 100% there. That really pissed me off.
Is there any way they can time zone that? Is there, or is that too much of a problem, or what?
It's a little bit too much of an issue.
Well, started on move it out a day. Started on a Friday.
Could you jump into that time zone? Can you jump into slots? You know what I mean?
Possibly.
Or is that a nightmare?
And just create a lot of work, kick size end.
Yes. Well, or even if you just to address it without having, because I get that would be you don't have to make sectors with time zones, and to avoid all that, just move it out a day
or 2 days
instead of.
Like your shadow instead of countdown, you have 4 days to complete it, but you're only allowed to play for 2 days.
The one reason why it's been sat on Thursday is because if anything goes wrong, Kicksai can work on it on the Thursday when it goes live, as well as on top of that through Friday if anything else happens. If they started running it sort of Friday, Saturday,
is that not something,
if things went wrong, then
is that not something they would need to modernize themselves? Start grassroots and have that support at the weekends.
You know what I'll touch on too is how sad of a state of affairs is the game in when you have to plan to fuck up.
Yeah.
I mean, no, seriously, think about what you just said.
That's good governance. No matter what you do, you're always going to make mistakes. Things are always going to happen. Service providers are always going to go down. Things are going to happen. So you're not planning to make mistakes. You just realize that they're going to happen anyways. And if you don't plan for that, that's a bad.
Beyond that, though. Kickstar's beyond that. I mean, they're at the point now where when they take the game down and bring it back up, almost inevitably, within an hour, it's back down again. They've reached the point where their failure rate far exceeds their success rate. And I mean, I totally get. Yeah, we gotta take it down on Thursday because. When was the last time they set off an invasion that actually did not have to bring the game back down?
3 or 4 invasions back.
Yeah.
In the last 6 months, if you think about all the invasions, all the events, everything that they've put out, what's their success rate versus their fail rate in getting it right the first time?
It's about 50-50, to be honest.
And that's pretty pathetic.
I like that show you guys did, the event. You're trying to guess how many times they'd have to bring it down for the event because they had just gone through like 5-10 down times.
Bring it down.
Oh gosh, I remember that one, and it didn't go down the whole event.
No, it didn't.
It did not go down the whole event. I remember that.
I used their server
for the show.
They used all their server restarts up the week before by bringing it down like 11 times.
But that event was pretty good.
It was.
Actually, it was. Yeah, that actually. What I just can't figure out is what the hell they've been going along. I mean, we've had so many shows recently where we're giving Kicks all these props. They've been doing well. What the hell's changed in the last couple weeks? Because now all of a sudden, it's screw up after screw up after screw up after screw up, and instead of us sitting here saying, things are good and things are great, now we're just giving them shit again.
That last update where they changed the expansions and all that, and that really screwed over a lot of people. And I understand a lot of people, rightfully so, got their bases stashed away or whatever for cheating or whatever. But a lot of good players, a lot of honest players, were in the middle of upgrades, and they got totally screwed. And
yes,
I
was one of them.
There was collateral damage, to be sure, but you got to understand something. They had to basically. This is my only interpretation. I didn't say this before, but if they ran something that allowed them to see what buildings were at what level, that to make sure that people weren't cheating upgrades and cheating these expansions, they would have to stop the progress of the base in order to. This is completely hypothetical because I don't know shit about computer code and all this stuff, but to be able to for us to move a building, our building can't be in the midst of an upgrade. No. So for them, this is my somewhat coherent understanding. For their system to be able to see what was, especially dealing with the fact that people were having buildings on top of buildings, for them to be able to move buildings around in that virtual space, would they not have to stop all of the upgrade and building queues in order for their system to play checkers with our shit in our base to go through and run all the parameters and figure out whether it's cheating or not? And then they start, they refresh your base and you're back at. So I understand. Now, the act is a hardship, and I can tolerate that. It was only the efforts in which to accommodate those people who suffered that hardship that was not respectable. It was the compensation that was inadequate, not the actual effect of the fix. The fix, I can take them shutting down everybody's fucking builds. I don't want to hear anybody more cry about, oh, wow, I lost freaking 3 days of my upgrade and yada, yada, yada. Okay, true. It sucks if you didn't take a screenshot where you knew where your progression was so that you didn't have that as leverage towards towards community service. It really sucks that people got, had to stop with the last day or two of some major 8-day, 7-day, whatever upgrade. It sucks that platoons weren't built, they stopped mid-build or they got kicked back a level because the progress was stopped. But I can give that to Kixeye if it was a necessity for their system to properly diagnose that the cheater base was cheating and our base wasn't. However, what I will not tolerate is the bullshit responses that were given to the players that suffered unwillingly. And that is that 50 gold or spec ops or whatever. And to say this is the best we can do can go fuck yourself. You can do anything in this game. It's fucking imaginary.
That's a good point, Venom, because the spec ops they gave out, from what I understand, is the jumbo jet. I've heard that from a lot of players, and I'm like, what the fuck is that? Why would anybody want a jumbo jet?
Well, look, if spec, I'm going to say this: if spec ops were the only thing that they were given access to, if they were allowed, if they were permitted, then the spec ops they should have instilled to players would be those that allowed them to go out and attack and gain more resources to pay back the upgrades, to pay back the resources needed to start it up again.
Oh, but no, no. They filled up people's res.
I'm sorry. No, that too.
Even if you took a screenshot and 34 videos and had it signed by the President of the United States, it would give you a jump.
Okay, I understand that. But it should have been that, and the spec ops should not be beholden to strapping a player to their sector. There are players that leave and fucking jumbo jet and 18-wheel, all that fucking crap that only generates from, basically the gist of it is it generates from resource deposit holdings because the generation from our in-base generators is bullshit and pointless. So you'd have to literally go out, collect a bunch of stupid depots, and get stuck in sector until you've earned all this shit back. And then we know, as players in the past, maybe not so currently, because I don't own any depots, I haven't for a long time, but as players who once collected shit tons of these fucking things, you know what that does. It causes all kinds of issues with lags and drains and shit on your play.
That last update was a total... it was a total screw up by Kixeye.
And I think in good faith, they should return people's upgrade times, seriously.
Right.
Well,
it's too late now because mine's almost done. I mean, I think my question is, and again, I'm not a tech noob at all. I mean, I am a tech noob. I don't know code or any of that stuff. It's all Japanese to me. But couldn't they have done to our bases what they did to when they went through the workshops? I mean, they didn't screw anything up when they checked all the bases for the workshop.
They did.
Well, I mean, mine didn't get messed up, but mine didn't get messed up during workshop. Everything was exactly the same as when the game went down, as when it come back up. But since they had to look at each individual base, couldn't they have seen that, okay, this defense lab and this base is upgrading, we'll fix it. We'll check the base and then restart it. Why couldn't they just restart it? And
they didn't look at each individual base.
They can't do that.
And that's my question, I guess, is why didn't they, instead of just some overall push that screwed everything up?
You try and look at 15,000 bases.
Yeah. You cannot literally pick apart every single base. What they do. Possible. Yeah, what you have to do is you have to look for triggers for known things that are obvious and have the system hone in on those specific traits. Okay. And then those bases get red listed, and those are the ones they'll dive deeper into. So there are many. I mean, I was fortunate. Nothing happened to me because I didn't have anything that would have triggered anything because I don't fucking do shit. Which is why I'm such a weak ass player to begin with.
I'm the biggest noob on the panel, but no, I just wanted to ask because I wasn't sure if anybody else was kind of as ignorant as I am when it comes to this kind of stuff. So I didn't know.
It's not ignorance. It's just it's the desire to have them actually go through everybody and really look at every little nuance and pick out the hacks and get rid of all of them, which is it's an impractical impossibility.
Yeah, it was pretty much a blanket fix, I think.
Yeah,
and it's just like it's a blanket that wrapped every player under the same blanket. They have special, code that they have, and it checks. And if certain red flags pop up, that's where they
start clamping down with the ban hammer.
Okay.
Yeah,
well,
they don't ban. They don't ban.
Well, I know.
They don't
not
ban.
Not only do they not ban, but they don't support their fucking product, and they don't support their customers. I mean, I get the nuances that you have to go through, and the fact that an update like this has to be a sweeping update, because you're right. You can't look through 15,000 bases or 30,000 bases. It's not feasible. But when, not if, your sweeping update fucks an honest player, you stand by your product and you make the shit right. You don't tell an honest player that whether he coins or not, because I got this shit and I have coins, and I've heard it from people in my clan who don't coin, and they still got the same shit. You don't tell those people that they were given 50 gold and they topped off their resources, and that's the best they can do, because that's the same fucking compensation you gave those sons of bitches that caused the problem in the first place. The hackers that got their bases fucked got the same gold that we got. I'm sorry, you can do better. You have to do better.
Yeah.
I agree.
I mean, it would take a lot of
absolute fucking top.
It would take a lot of work on Kixeye's part, but they could absolutely do a better job on the fix they did. And I mean, it's just it would take a little bit more, I think, downtime than it did. But to be more meticulous and not punish the good players from the bad, it will just take a little bit more downtime. Even if it's an entire day, I'm fine with that.
Yep.
I would be
love
too.
that.
I mean, when they did the downtime, when they did the workshop hack, I mean, I think I believe we ran the show the whole time it was down, and it was down what, 2-3 hours, 4 hours. I know it was a fairly long show that we had.
It's close to 3.
And
Kickside. Go ahead, lady.
yeah, I mean, I would much rather them take it down for hours and get the bad players and fix, take care of them, and not punish us good players. So
even once a month, there do a massive update or a massive restructure, you know what I mean, and warn the players will be down for 6 hours on this date.
Kickside they may lose revenue, like maybe for a day. If they bring it down for an entire day, they may lose revenue. But if they get the stuff fixed, to where stuff works right,
it's
I guarantee you,
never going to happen that way. Just that
the problem with that, you can't take the game down for a day. There's never ever going to be a situation where you can just say take the game down for a day and fix everything. That's just not how it works. It's impossible to do it like that. I mean, you fix the problems, you fix the code, test it, make sure it works, and then you push the code out. And so, I mean,
to do that in an hour and a half,
you're like saying, like, hey, let's take this entire week off and finish the house we're building, even though it takes a month to build the house. You can't take the entire week off and just finish it. You have to still have to put the work in, no matter how much downtime you have.
We all know how many problems the game has, and I'm not saying fix everything in one day.
Well, I gotta put this out.
Rome wasn't built in a day, so I'm just
the update itself is usually dependent on the amount of time and the amount of bandwidth that Kickside have at the time. The fixes and the changes are all done in the space of the week between one update and the next. So when this update goes live, I guarantee you they're already working on the next one.
Right.
Because we've got next week is the event on the 23rd.
Right,
so they'll be working on everything to get ready for the event.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. They're working for the next week or 2 weeks or however long it takes to fix the bug, and then when they're ready to apply that fix, that's when they take the game down. They're already working in the background right now, like we are. We're at work. They're at the same work doing what they do to apply the fix. And if and like the a certain bug takes a week or two, it takes a week or two to fix, and then they apply it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, I really just want us to get back to a show where we're giving them some props because they're doing the good things, and we're having a great time, and we're sharing good information, and not just sitting here and just constantly Kicks, you suck ass this week. I'm sorry. The
only positive notes that I have this week is the upcoming invasion, which is there's a bunch of story shit in addition to the usual thorium and metals. There's war dogs, liberators, hammers, detonators, disruptors, and bone saws. That's a pretty good artwork. I've seen that before.
I posted segue.
Yeah, it was an outstanding segue, and I'll take it. So, of course, invasion is 10 waves. It's invasion. It's not free repair, so it's not onslaught. So don't go balls to the wall straight out of the fucking gate because you get your backside kicked.
Twin Titan Op is your friend.
Yes.
It's worth 6K medals.
Now, on that note, I don't know what kind of onslaught it's going to be. Not onslaught, invasion it's going to be. Because I have it for unofficially, really, because it's not been made public knowledge yet, that the zombies, because of Thanksgiving falling a week earlier than it should, or than it usually does, zombies are sticking around until the end of the month. So they're probably not going to go away, and probably December 1st is the time frame, but you're probably going to not see it disappear until about the 6th of December.
Yeah.
That's a question that people are asking me. you think there will be zombies in the next event and this next invasion?
I highly doubt they'll be on the next event. The invasion, I'm not quite sure.
Turkey zombies. Oh my God. No smog. No turkey zombies. Oh my God.
No.
Turkey zombies that kill our dog. Yes.
Oh God.
Wild turkeys attacking.
Looking at
Very good. Very good.
looking at
All they have to do is have a single turkey zombie in the character reference when they show like whoever we're facing. You know, the Malachi with a freaking turkey under his arm or something.
The spitters are going to be spitting mashed potatoes at you.
The dogs will keeping piles of stuffing on the ground.
Oh.
so are they,
Can I finish?
Yes.
going to be
Right. So invasion by itself is liberators, hammers, bone saws, detonators, disruptors, war dogs, up until wave 6. Of course, perfect prizes is medals again up until wave 9. But wave 7 and 8 are liberative components. Oh no, they're all components, they're not units, okay. But they were units, apparently not. They're all components. Up until the disruptor component. Who wants this? I don't want fucking disruptor components. Disruptors are shite.
My disruptors are still freaking level 1.
You should actually build one.
I've got 2.
I think I have 1. I don't know.
Attack it. I mean,
Quiet,
I'm
Jen.
sure you
Quiet,
can
Jen.
find one use for it.
Wave
Quiet,
9.
quiet.
Yeah,
One or two uses, maybe.
I have a use for it there. You build it
have
and delete
to
it.
perfect both wave 9 and 10 for technical tokens. This is a technical token invasion. So you've got a fair chance of getting some good stuff out of it.
Oh, yeah.
A many
I'm
for
quite-
9 and many for 10.
One for
I'm so
9
happy because I told you.
2 for level 10.
So you can
I
get
told you to
30,
see you, man.
30 extra
Now-
tokens. Is that correct?
When 1 token if you do wave 9, and you have to perfect it.
Yeah, but you can.
You have to perfect wave 9 and perfect wave 10 to get the 3 technical tokens at the end of invasion, which you can play as many times as you want.
Is it 10 times? Is invasion is it limited to 10 times, or is that?
I don't think it has a limitation.
Normally it does not have a limitation. You can replay it
doesn't
and
say
replay it
that.
until you get your best time, and then I think your best time is where you will rank in as far as the additional prizes they give out later.
So you set it correctly, you could nearly max your technicals in this event.
If you do it enough, 55 tokens is required. If you score in the top 100, there's 21 tokens straight out of the gate.
You mind if I segue into the same topic, but
Don't do it.
just all right for base defense, right? I think it. All right, so you have survivors, sentinels, and corpus, right? Corpus, you're obviously going to use your phalanx and your Hades if there's there. Your survivors, you're going to use the technicals, obviously, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sentinels, you got seekers, and you got what do you call them?
Seekers, acolytes,
Acolytes, and what else?
purifiers,
Purifiers, right? Ardra.
and the
Those-
chaplain.
Those seekers with the ground tech,
Ugh.
they absolutely wreck shit beyond belief. I've seen it,
I
and
scrapped all mine.
their ground tech is freaking awesome, dude. Just a heads up, just a tip for the guys that have Sentinel base CC.
Oh, I scrapped my seekers a long time ago.
Oh, I did too.
They pissed me off. I didn't like them.
I mean, if you manage to get through invasion 10 times, or we'll use 10 times as a limit, and you perfect every wave, that's 30 technical tokens. You score in the top 100, that's 51. You need 4 more tokens, and you'll be maxed. So there's a little bit of maths for you on that one, if you want to go through it that way.
On this
Oh,
event, with these being Bearcraft attackers, are we looking at thorium infused attackers?
I do not know. With it
That
being
would have an impact on my strategy.
with it being the way it is, as it says, it doesn't look like there's going to be zombies, and we're going to get proper units this time. So if they've done what they've done in the past and throw a whole bunch of shit at my base, I'll probably get three technical tokens and be done there, because invasion pisses me off.
By beating and getting the top 1,000, you're saying?
Live show, Phil?
Yeah. Possibly not. The last time we tried to do a live show, no one on that panel at that time, because of the difficulty of the waves, got past level 7. Before the show had ended, and we were all sitting back and repairing shit.
That's right there. I was on.
So
yeah.
if anything, no show. Videos, maybe. I know a few people will do that straight out of the gate. City will be usually one of them. He does one run just as is.
Skyrim.
Yes, I may do one.
Probably a few more as well will do it with whatever they can postulate as good stuff to use. And you'll be good to go with the invasion on that one. I mean, the prizes look pretty good, although it's
What's the total for medals? I suppose maybe is anybody usually double?
I don't know.
22, 52, 7,000, 9,000, 13,000, 20,000.
20k.
20k, if you perfect it.
Yeah.
That's enough for 20 hookers, guys.
Seems kind of crappy. They were.
That's some cheap ass hookers. Oh, sorry.
Not in my neighborhood.
My windows work.
Champ's
you know
playing $10 hookers, that's why.
Seems
I
like they
don't
gave
know.
us.
I don't know what hookers cost. I have no need for those.
Seems like they're giving us a lot more medals now. It's back down to minuscule amounts again.
Yeah, but again, they're inflating a lot of the things. The stuff in the store that we need is at a higher rate anyway. So juxtaposed to what they're giving us in these events, it still equates to the same old payouts.
Yeah, some of them War Dog tech is 50,000 in the gear store, and yet a full wave of invasion will only give you 20,000.
I'm saying when they first started, they were giving us like a couple. I guess they are giving a little more in the thousands, but when they started, they were giving a few hundred medals, and then they upped
They were
it up.
giving you like 50, 100, 75. It was bullshit payouts. But
Yeah,
at the time, our highest price stuff was 80,000 medals, 70,000 medals, stuff like that. Now our high price stuff is 400,000, and they're giving us 7,000. So
Well, I have it on the notes from a while back. I don't have the forum link currently, but there are a few units that are getting a secondary rebalance, or rather, they're the round 2 of the rebalance. And I know the Seeker and the Disruptor is in there. Both of those units are set. So at some point in the next few weeks, you'll probably see something on that, as well as a couple of other things that I know are going to come through in the next couple of weeks as well. As far as the leaderboard is concerned, because it's in the pipe. It's in the pipe, and it'll get done. It'll get done when it gets done. And I just don't want to hear any more bitching about it.
No.
Because that's the order of things.
I was looking at the components though. It's like I was laughing. I was thinking about Daba. He's got like tons of Liberator components, and yet he's going to get more. It's like I feel for the people who do need the components. They're struggling. I mean, the War Dog components will be nice for me, but a lot of these, like, it seems like kind of old that we're getting components that we don't really.
They only give 2 of the War Dog components, and they're bronze. They're not even good components.
Yeah.
Game back
That's
up.
probably true. I actually need gold dog components.
Game is back up.
Excellent.
Right on the money as well. Right on the money.
I
For how long?
90
I don't
minutes.
know. It's loading now, so we'll see.
15 minutes and counting before game goes down.
I've been on the 30 to 35 minute slot.
22 minutes and 17 seconds. Oh, there. Sorry, that's little.
We still
Almost
should be
dogs,
under.
man. I'm still trying to get dog tokens, man. I've been trying to get dog tokens forever. Mine are still level 10.
Mine too.
We still should
I
be
just
under
don't have
the.
time though.
There's a post in here I was thinking about going over from Bernie. It's a little bit further down. Next one, right there. That one from user 17. I don't know, it's not much, but I thought, hey, it's a, we're talking about it. It's nice that Bernie gets the information out for us and talks about it a little bit.
Working on other fixes and improvements for the future.
I do still like Bernie. I almost called him Bunny. Sorry, Bernie. I still like him. I might be pissed off by itself, but he's done well getting information to us.
He's done pretty well so far, but I think he got burned because of this update.
It wasn't his fault.
No, it wasn't his fault, and I won't go after him personally. He's just doing his job.
Right.
But I can understand why they've gone with a smaller update this week, but it's disappointing.
Well, that looks promising. For once, when I log in, my world chat actually come up and look like it's working instead of sitting there with 4 lines of disconnected. Okay, people, I can tell you right now, if you're paying attention, the tags are gone.
Again.
Yeah. The only tag I can see currently in the sector I am in is my own. Oh, no, wait a minute. There it is. It's like a 15-second delay for the tags. Wow.
That's all right.
Yeah, that's not so bad.
Sometimes it takes things like that to propagate.
All right. Well, let's.
Yeah.
Let me go see if I can hit something. Let me try to hit.
I wouldn't do that just yet. I'd give it a good 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah. What is this new platoon order crap?
It's nice.
No, it's not.
I like it.
You're only against it because you're not accustomed to it. But in reality, it is actually more beneficial.
You don't have to scroll down looking for what you've deployed that are on the map. It's really good.
Well, I guess for that, but if I'm in the middle of tune fighting, that's gonna kick my ass because I'm so used to just going.
It's the opposite. It's the opposite. It works to your advantage because the platoons that you have deployed are the platoons that are now first and forefront, as opposed to having to scroll through stuff that's still in your base in order to. And remember, I mean. It is more fortuitous than the plat fights.
I'll take y'all's word for it. I haven't done PvP in like 3 months now, it seems. So
I know where Lady Warrior is coming from. If you're at your base and you've got multiple people trying to get you, and you're just trying to bring out tunes as quickly as possible to stall them.
Yeah, that's counterintuitive. Because
that's what I'm saying. I'm thinking for tune fighting, it's going to be difficult.
Come hit me, lady.
Yeah.
Champ, I love you. I'm not going to hit you.
For platoon deployment, it's more difficult, but for platoon location on the map, it is better.
Yeah, I was going to say for platoon location, yes, I totally agree with you. I think that would be fine. Well, they didn't give me any decent special op, but I was able to hit a rogue, so I guess that's something.
And it's a start.
It's a start. So, and world chat's working, so. And who's this dude? I don't know this.
I'm stuck at 99%. Some bitch.
I'm
Have we got anything else on the agenda?
No, I do not.
We'll go ahead and wrap up.
Go smash stuff.
I have one thing I want to say. I put in I made a post on forums about fucking in the customer support section because that's where it goes. Kickside, please get your shit fucking sorted with these bases despawning randomly for no goddamn reason. I've had it happen.
Don't like you.
I've had it happen twice, and I'm just absolutely pissed. You put all the effort into hitting a base, you take the damage from doing the base, and then you're just about finished, and all that's left is all the easy stuff that you take no damage left. So you might want to restart started into a fresh attack for whatever reason, and you haven't even been in the base for, say, over 10 minutes, and then fucking as soon as you end attack, go back to the map, base is gone.
Yeah, well, I had the same thing. I was attacking a base. I destroyed some of the front end turrets, and I left to get my 6 minutes. And when I returned, the turrets were completely repaired.
Yeah.
Oh no!
I'd actually that with my base, where my base was fully healed after getting smashed.
So there is that
20
issue.
minutes later, it was damaged again.
Yeah, it really pissed me off because I was doing a Sentinel 100, and then I'd cleared out everything, all the corners, everything, all the acolytes, everything. All that was left was that center bit, which is like the easiest thing to take out, and you take like no damage in it. And then poof.
Were you doing it around like midnight to 3 a.m. PST where the bases despawn or something?
No, I was doing it 9 hours before they were meant to despawn.
Okay, yeah, so that would definitely be a...
Yeah, that's why I was pissed. I'd literally just got in the game. I did one base, no issues. Go to the next base. I wasn't even in the game for over 30 minutes. And that happens. I closed my game. I made the forum post, closed my game for the rest of the day. I was like, fuck this, I'm done.
Yeah, that happens fairly frequently. When something goes wrong and something I don't like, it's sort of it's case in point. Turn the game off. Don't go on for the rest of the day.
No, that's really the outcome of all these problems that we're experiencing. Is it just doesn't make us want to play the game, or grind through it, or play, just do anything.
I was on the game for a grand total of about 30 minutes today. I found my rares. I put some upgrades on, logged out.
Yeah, that's just unfortunate. That's the way it's sort of going there.
Yeah.
Just don't want to do it.
No.
Well, you know what? And not only that, but, when you've got the game as screwed up as it is, and then you turn to the place that you're supposed to turn to get some things fixed, like platoons repaired, issues with lags tag, fucking war efforts, and customer service basically tells you to go get fucked. There's no incentive to keep playing, and there's certainly not an incentive to keep coining.
Oh yeah.
Nope.
Not at all.
Coined in weeks.
I do realize that there's a lot of stuff going on in the background, a lot of big changes that are happening. So it could be sort of, we're still experiencing these kind of growing pains where they're trying to, re-archetype their entire,
I welcome growing pains there, but do you see if they're doing big changes in the background? They have to adapt their stance to the customer, the playing person. They have to be a little bit more tolerant. They have to be a little bit more milder. They have to be a little bit more genuine. Say, right, look, things are going on here. Like this fella is clean as a whistle, and he doesn't send many tickets in. And if his Titan died on a level 35 rogue, something's badly wrong.
Well, and your fuck up is not my problem. You don't when you fuck up. You don't get to use the excuse of, well, we fucked up, so we're sorry. Hope you deal with it. That's not an answer. That's not a valid answer. If you fuck up, and if there's shit going on in the background, then you grow a fucking pair of nuts, you own up to your mistakes, and you make the shit right to your customers, who are the only reason you have a fucking job.
Pretty much.
I guess that's true. In the last 14 months, customer service has not improved. And, I think there's only like one or two people that have been really nice to me, but 90% of the time, it's like half the time I don't even file a ticket because it's...
No, I don't even bother there. Like the last time I sent a ticket, I got patronized on how to set up a missile bastion. You can only do one, you can only do this, you have to, and I'm going, oh my God, really?
Oh. Not only that,
I get line 1 tech support. If I wanted line 1 tech support, I'd go back 5 years and go back to my first job. Well, I don't want to go back 5 years. I'm quite happy being who I am today.
And they went into my account, they moved my missile bastion and left it out in the middle of a field along with the cows and the grass and the sheep. And if I got attacked there, the enemy was just going to go, oh, look at that missile bastion, what a plonker. You know, I mean,
let me tell you something. If I could go back 10 years, I would fucking do that in an instant. Trust me.
No,
I would go back in an instant.
I tell you what, here's a little tip for your customer service people. If you're going to tell us to fuck off, at least read our tickets. When I send in a ticket because my platoon stopped repairing, and in the initial ticket, I say that I'm a veteran player. I know that I need to stop all of my repairs and then set the platoons into repair that I want. Then I wait for the save. I collect my resources in my base. I wait for the save. I move a building and move it back. Wait for the save. Go out to the fucking map and deploy at least 3 platoons and bring them back. And when I go through that whole rigmarole and I tell you that I've done that, and your response to me is make sure that you stop your repairs and restart them before you log off, you didn't even read what the fuck I had to say.
Yep.
Yeah. And it goes back to an age-old saying: the customer is always right.
No,
and the principle behind hold on. This is what I'm saying. The principle behind that is always keep your customer happy. You know, it's not like word for word the customer's always right. It's about keeping your customer happy. You know, if for example, especially in the food industry, if you go somewhere and you get treated for anything, say it's your birthday, they give you a free drink or something, that's going to make you fucking want to come back. Just because, like, hey, sweet, I got free shit. It makes you feel happy. You want to go back. It could be, that drink could have costed 10 fucking cents for all you care.
Yeah, but
you got it for free, and it was something that made you happy. It makes you want to go back and spend more money there.
Imagine you got your free drink and you accidentally spilt it, and they turned around and said to you, "Well, tough. Too bad." You know what I mean?
They end up charging you a cleaning fee for it.
That would just be irony.
It really would. But you get where I'm saying. Like, Kickstarter will be like, you spend your money for something, it never comes out, and then they're like, oh, and you've paid for it and everything, and they're like, oh, so that's your problem.
Oops. Spilling the drink is a total fear the peel move. I just
it's not me. I got one friend that no matter every fucking time we go out, he spills something. The other day, he put some water on a towel on a piece of fucking tissue to try to clean it up. The water didn't get soaked up into the tissue, and he picked up the tissue, and all the water fell on his pants, and it just made the situation so much worse.
Here, did you send him a ticket, did he?
Oh man,
I think I just pissed myself. There's 50
Did
gold.
you clear your cookies?
Yeah, you gotta clear your cookies, or it'll never work.
Let me tell you something, Kicks. I ate the damn cookies.
Wait, who's got cookies?
Point in case, when you fuck up your
Speaking of cookies, never mind.
You fuck over your customer base. When you fuck up your customer base and your clientele, I mean, it's not going to make. I mean, this at the end of the day, this is a game. It is a business. If with all business, the end goal is to make money. You piss people off to the point where they don't want to pay you for anything, you're fucking yourself in the ass, and then you're just not getting. You end up ruining your point. You give someone 50 free gold for any little fuck up, you're going to make them happy. You're like, oh, thanks. I might want to spend more gold. You fuck them up, take away, a week worth of an upgrade because you fucked up, and then you want to credit them like an hour worth of compensation for that. Fuck off.
Hey guys, I just got the game loaded. So there's new 55s on the base, or are those old? Okay, never mind. It's just
dog bases.
It's just taking a look. It's taking a while to load. So never mind. Sorry to interrupt you, Fear the Peel. My apologies.
No, it's all good. It's all good. It's just basically saying you keep your clients happy, they'll continue to pay. You piss them off, they don't pay, they go to another game, and you lose everything. I mean, it's just look how many friends we all had leave the game purely because they're just sick of being fucked up the ass by the gaming company themselves for no good reason.
Without even so much as a courtesy lick.
A courtesy.
And
I wish Kixeye would take me out to dinner because I like to eat before I get fucked.
Yeah, or loan me some of their lipstick so I can at least look pretty.
I don't mean to talk about this, but you know, I'm really curious how much Shadow spent on League of Legends that he didn't spend on War Commander.
Well, that's the same amount of money I've spent elsewhere that I haven't spent on War Commander.
Yeah. Exactly. You know, I don't mind putting money into games if I get my money's worth. You know, I play other games that I do put a bit of money into. I will never put money into War Commander on pure principle. They fucked me once, and they continue to fuck us up slightly. On principle, you want to fuck with me and you know, label me as something, I'll fucking not giving you none of my money. And yeah.
I'm on the same boat. Kixo fucked me once. That's all that ever needed to happen.
I mean, originally, I mean, everyone now is getting to the point where they're finally sick of all the crap, and they're refusing to buy gold because they're just sick of the crap. I was sick of that shit from like the very first month I started playing this game 4 fucking years ago, and I wouldn't coin because I was sick of, you know, all the crap. Like, I remember one specific event. There was a stupid glitch where you'd go into a base, you'd do all your shit. As soon as you end attack, every single time the base would be completely healed, and that was during an event. So and it was the old event styles where you literally couldn't progress until you finished that wave or that base. So you were just stuck. You're completely stuck. And I mean, that pissed me off a lot. And you know, when you have shit like that, where it's like, oh, sorry, your game's finished, you can't play anymore.
Oops.
I mean, what exactly? Like, why the fuck are you gonna? You know, you get a weekend event, and if you know, early on in the event, bug happens, and it's like, oh, sorry, you can't play the event anymore. What the fuck are you meant to do for the rest of the week?
Sit on your ass.
Exactly.
Go outside and see real people.
Sudoku. That is my answer.
I love me some Sudoku, okay? I play that shit like every other day.
Sudoku's fun.
Right out loud. There are only so many goddamn Sudoku puzzles you can do before you get bored shitless.
Sudoku, isn't that in the Kama Sutra book?
No, that's a Suckdoku.
Oh, okay. $5. Can we say derailed?
$5. Just a bit, yeah.
Tree fitty make you see city. Tree fitty make you holla.
Holla.
I think that came out a bit wrong.
Yeah, just a bit. And of course, with everything Unshackled, that, of course, is an understatement.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's usually understatement of the fucking century. Because it's what we do best.
Yeah, I'm getting a PS4. You can have your Xbox One. I'm getting a PS4.
Fucking PC Master Race.
All right, I think it's. I'm going to steal Phil's thunder here, and let's wrap this up. Anton, you got any shout-outs?
Hang on a minute.
It is a fucking sad day when I'm all
It is a cold day in hell when fucking Fear the Peel steals my finishing line.
And I'm going to steal the Peel's line there. I want to thank Pokemon Go. So there.
Words with friends. Don't forget words with friends.
Okay, there, guys. Here.
You guys are in so much trouble.
This is
dangerous.
I do not condone.
Fuck it.
I am not a part of this. I swear, I have nothing to do with it.
Good for you. Well stolen there. You just robbed the bank. You didn't got away with.
Okay. Now back to Dr. Phil so he can take control.
I just want to ask one question. How the fuck do you kill those hydras in that 150 base?
Wait till it turns its back and then shoot it.
Burning Man, Phil. Burning Man gets them quicker.
That makes sense.
And wait till it turns its back and then shoot it in the butt.
And just remember for the one at the front of the base, it's an area one, so make it fire at one technical while your others attacking it.
Or make some mercs there, Bill, there to distract it. You should get it there. How many technicals have you got, Bill?
12. Well, 12 built, that's all I can fit in a platoon.
Yeah.
12's plenty.
Yeah, all you need is like 2 rocket men, and the rest Burning Man should get you.
That'll do it. Well, I did most of the base just as it was, just to test it out.
Because the Herald doesn't move in 2 hits and it's gone.
Yeah, it's even easier
One
now.
thing I would like to bring up again: standardized gold pricing.
Yep.
Because my technicals have got like 2 hours of damage on them right now, and it's 16 fucking gold.
Yes.
Ouch.
And the problem with that is because it's fucked up. Yeah. It goes by the number of units and the total as well, not just the total.
I mean, what the fuck?
Yeah, the biggest pain in the ass is when one platoon is 2 hours of repair at 60 gold and one's 2 hours repair at 6 gold. Like, what the fuck?
Hey man, if you got like fucking 100 damaged ERM in your base, that'll cost you fucking 100 fucking gold or some shit. 200 gold.
It's ridiculous.
It's
exactly.
craziness. It should be based on time. If you want to fuck around with the times, but make the golds based on a time value. It should have nothing to do with what unit is getting repaired. It should just be how long it takes to repair that unit.
And
period.
And on that note,
no more fucking excuses.
Right.
Go ahead.
And on that note, they should fucking honestly half the cost of all gold prices, everything, like to actual buy gold.
There was a post a guy was like $4.99 for 500 gold. I was like, yeah, there's no fucking way I'm gonna get 500 gold for $5. Not gonna happen.
Yeah.
And then it was like 200. For the 200, you should be getting like 20,000. I'm like,
yeah, okay.
My God, I was like,
the only thing
that's
that
a bit excessive.
Ironically, it's the more for less type deal that happens in Vega, but
that's everything.
With Vega, ironically, is the same amount of coin. It's the same amount of money for the same amount of coin that you would spend in War Commander. To be perfectly honest, the way they structured it, they make it look like you get more for less. So if you got 20,000 gold for $200. Kixeye would change the entire structure of the price list.
Yeah,
of the price of the gold.
It fucking would.
Exactly. So
it would cost
what we
1,000
consider
gold to repair.
Yeah, exactly. What we use 1 gold for now would then exponentially raise to 1,000 gold. So,
well, here's the most ironic twist for you on that one. When I was still heavily playing Vega, the biggest fleet in the game to repair was a day and a half, 666 gold.
Oh,
ouch.
So wait, what's okay? So do that now. We have day and a half platoons like air. Isn't that like about 35, 40 gold?
You divide
over 100 gold.
You're
100 gold.
Looking,
12 and a half hours on just a Herald is 32 gold.
You're looking at about 70 gold.
Yeah.
38 gold for a Herald, and it's the same for a Titan and your Sandstorm. So if that all goes there, and then you use your other air, you could be on a ground unit.
You could be repairing for a month.
Well,
Exactly.
my point was to take a day repair in Vega. You said was 660. Just say
600.
And then
ironically, it was 606 gold. I called it the Demon Fleet.
Okay, that's there, isn't it? So I was trying to translate that to an identical, because I have a day and 13 on my 1 air platoon. That's 102 gold. So
that's crazy.
Because this is the problem. I mean, I'm going to use just a small number as an example, right? So and compare it to another game. $10 in War Commander, right? That won't get you far. That's a fucking that's like a grain of fucking sand in the entire beach. Right, but
it is 1 platoon in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, and sorry to use this as an example, but in Pokemon Go, if I spend
I said don't.
I'm just saying. I need to mention this because I can spend.
Go ahead. For the benefit of understanding. Yes, go.
Yeah, right. So I can spend $10 in that, and I can say buy 10 raid passes. A raid pass is worth $1. Right? You go out, you do a raid. I can take those 10 raid passes and spend all day raiding with them, right? And so that $10 ends up giving me a whole day, plus petrol money for driving around. But I can spend a whole day worth of fun for that $10 in Pokemon Go. $10 in War Commander, man. That's
not even a platoon.
That's like not even a big dude.
Yeah, you're done in 30 seconds.
5 minutes hitting one big base. 7 minutes. Let's say a full hit. Done. Wasted.
Yeah. And the worst part is in WC, in War Commander, you use that 10 gold, you do repair that platoon, you go out in a PvP, and that platoon is dead, 15 minutes later, and you're back to being down another, $10. And it just, it's just not, the fun to reward is just not there.
If they at least drop prices by 50%, you'd at least be able to encourage people. It would give people an incentive to spend a lot more money. I mean, at the end of the day, that's the thing. I mean, when people see things being super expensive, they're not going to buy one of it. But if they see something that's really cheap, they'll buy heaps of it.
I'll do it this way. I'll do it. My view of this, taking into account the guy who did that post and his naivete about it, but using my U.S. dollars, because I don't know what it translates to the UK or to Saudi Arabian money or Indonesia or the other continents and their exchange rates. But for the 50 gold with no bonus at $5, I would like to see a 75 gold at $5. I would like to see maybe 125 gold at the $10 mark. 500 and with a 50 bonus could go to maybe 625 or 650. 600 with a 50 bonus for the $50. And then the 2,000, instead of it being 2,400 with the bonus included, make it fuck you. Okay.
Sorry.
That's okay.
I got fucking disruptor tokens. That's depressing.
Oh, sorry.
See, like, I'm going to screenshot.
Now you're gonna have to build disruptors. That's all. But make that the 2,800 because think about it this way: the 2,000 that you're paying for at $199.99, that you're really banking on. And Kickside does understand that bonus gold really gets burnt up quickly. When any common sense person, I mean, this goes to every marketing scheme. When you're told you're given a bonus, it is not reflected mentally as something you've paid for. You just think it's free. Act now, get this free. So you're going to frivolously spend it. So, and again, it's make-believe. These coins are locked into this game. It is revenue that is guaranteed right back into Kickside. Although they have no intrinsic value, they have a mental value to the player and the game. So if they were to change the 2,400 to 2,800, that doubling that bonus would freaking blow people's minds at the onset of that deal, and you would see a lot more players jumping to dump the $200, not realizing. And that 800 coin would rapidly burn out of their accounts.
Oh yeah. Can I get presented, please?
Pokemon. No, it's not. He's
I want to
actually.
show. Am I being presented?
Yes.
All right. So this is something I just picked up on this, and this is why I find a lot of things about this game stupid, right? So if I want to, for example, buy gold, the big one, it'll cost me $260. So fuck that. To start with, right? But let's say I did, right? That gives me 2,400. Gives me 2,400 coin, right? If I want to say do this upgrade, right? 230 mil res, 7 days, 267 gold, right?
Well, add to that your 23 because that. Oh no, that would ask you to buy the difference. You're right, 267.
No. I'm not going to buy it here. I'm just saying.
No, I'm just. I was.
No.
I was
That's
making a mental.
actually far cheaper than it should be.
Hold up, and I'm getting to that. and right, so that I can do say 9 upgrades like this, and all my gold is gone, right? But this is something else that's interesting, right? So you got this one, which is 230 mil metal and oil, and 7 days, 267. I go to my bunker upgrade. It's only 85 mil of each, 7 days, and it cost me an extra 100 gold.
Well, no. But stop. You might think that's stupid, but that actually is rational. You're using, okay, and this goes back to something that I'm going to rant about this again. You're using less resources, so you have to make that up with more gold. Now, this comes right full circle to the biggest fucking thing that I hate, loathe, despise about Kixeye right now, which is if you put resources in, you've taken the effort to accrue them. When you use them towards the build, it should immediately reduce the gold cost to complete said action. When we go in and we do this shit, builds, etc., and the fucking number jumps up, you put 100 million metal, 100 million oil, and in various cases, fucking 8 million thorium, and you go from something that's a 50 gold upgrade jumps to fucking 87 gold, 100 gold. Go fuck yourselves. If I put effort to go out and toil over this bullshit game and collect these res, which are costing me repairs in units that get damaged, and I take that res that I've suffered getting and apply it to something, you reduce the fucking gold cost and incentivize me to then spend the gold to complete it early. If you jack the gold costs up, do you really think I'm fucking dumb enough to wait for it to drop down to 50 and then gold the 50 when I could have just fucking paid 50 outright? Yeah, get your heads out of your asses. You want me to fucking spend money in the game? Fix that fucking shit first.
Calm down.
Tell him how you feel.
Wow.
I mean, when you look at the price to coin a whole bunch of other random stuff, I mean, it's just completely all out of whack. I mean, here's another example.
What Venom was saying earlier on there, it's just like the units, they need to sort of uniform buildings. If something is 7 days, it should be 300 gold. That should be it. At least you know what you're paying. It's the same for everything. Rather than paying a 2-hour repair, 16 gold per technicals, you know what I mean? And then some other unit there, it's only 3 gold.
Yeah, it's just bad pricing on random stuff. Like, if that's 7 days, there should be some kind of correlation between the gold prices on everything, and there really isn't.
All this does to prove to me is it's a concerted effort where you have a company that has different people involved in different tasks with no consortium of interpersonal chat, talk, debate.
Too fragmented.
There's no cohesion. It's completely fragmented. And this is a cornerstone of all tech industries. And I don't care if people don't believe me or not, but I know people in the know. And it is a cornerstone of tech industry and Silicon Valley. They have this guy sitting over here doing this part of this thing, and this guy over in another room on the other side of the fucking building working on another component. And then at the end of the day, as long as they meet their time schedules, they put it all together, slap patch it, and ship it out. And it fucking is horrible. There is no guys working side by side saying, okay, I'm working on the art for this tank. You're going to tell me you're working on the DPS and the weapons idea. We work together to make sure that the fucking cannon looks like a cannon when it shoots a shell, as opposed to my cannon shooting a bullet when I could have artistically designed it to look like a machine gun. And you're going to tell me that it's putting out 100,000 DPS. Well, then my machine gun better fucking look pretty badass instead of looking like it came out of a friggin', airsoft pistol.
Yeah.
There's
like
the fact that they lack direct, constant collaboration, and instead it's obvious that the person that sets the gold prices, just like they did in the past with the costs of XP and events, were stuff that we as players knew. Look, this fucking tech should be high price, and they're giving it to us cheap. But let's make a fucking trophy 1.8 million.
Yeah, I mean, here's another good example with the retarded gold prices. I mean, here's my radio tower to level 9, right? 140 mil of each, 5 days, 269 gold. Let's go back to the airfield.
Okay.
230 mil, 7 days. So it's cheap. It's cheaper in terms of the actual cost, I saved 2 extra days, and it still cost an extra 2 gold. I think it was.
See, that's backwards. That one's backwards.
Yeah, it costs an extra 2 gold, and everything is cheaper. Like, it makes no sense. I mean, they're like valuing certain things as being more valuable than other things when they like it makes no sense.
Well, again, this comes back to my statement of the fragmentation of it. You're also looking at things that were devised by previous group of individuals and put into the game some time ago do not equate in their minds to the value in game as something they've just created and injected into the game recently. So they're holding recent stuff at such a higher pillar and level, and they're kind of forgetting about the old stuff. And what that also harms the player is this quote unquote, for lack of a better term, forgotten stuff ends up, they just throw random costs and prices and times and shit because they don't care, because the majority of the players that are still in already have accrued this. We've already got our radio towers at, for example, yours was going to what, to 9 or whatever, or
it's not going to
airfield.
The next level is 9.
Whatever, Lex level's 9. So for the most part, we've got our radio towers to level 6. So God forbid you went back and saw what it would cost in time and effort to go to 6. These things are forgotten so that you no longer have that vision of, wait, so if 9 is 7 days, 6 is this. You can't look at them side by side anymore mentally, unless you go back and open up a wiki or open up something else and actually physically take the effort to compare. But for the most part, you forget about it. So they get away with this shit because you're not thinking about it. If we thought about it more often and we kept on it and we drilled them in comments and constructive criticism, then this shit wouldn't have gone down the way it has. But you understand now you're fighting a 6-year-long uphill battle.
I know. And it's to the point. And it's little shit like this that makes people less likely to want to coin.
Yeah, it does.
It's not only the less likely to want to coin, it's the less likely to want to continue to play.
Exactly.
Well, and it's an unlikely to promote it for somebody to start, because there is no start to this anymore.
Oh fuck no, you can't start. Like when my friends when somebody asks me what I play, I tell them I play War Commander, and they're like, "What's that?" I say, "Don't bother. It's not worth playing."
I'm the same way. I'm like, I play a Flash player game. It's not really that interesting. It's disheartening to actually play down something that I do have passion for. I've grown to enjoy the there's been ups and downs, but I've grown to enjoy the ups in the game and the fun in the game and the community and the camaraderie and meeting people that I otherwise never would have met. You guys, you fucking ragtag bunch of whack jobs, are a prime example.
I resemble that.
Yeah. But it takes a psycho to know a psycho. It takes a crazy person like me to commune with other like-minded crazy people.
Anyone want some Thor?
No.
But when asked about it by friends and coworkers and whatever, I'm just like, yeah, I play a game. It's a Flash player game. It's not, because they'll go out and they're online gamers and console gamers, and they're not. There's no way. I had a friend who is an avid console YouTube gamer, and he wanted to get into a lot of the online PC games, and he literally was in this game for 4 hours, 6 hours, and he's like, "Fuck this, nope, quit." And now, I'm not talking this year or last year. I'm talking a few years ago. But he's knowledgeable enough, and he's done enough games that he knows the way that games progressive. How they are. And he saw the progression rate and how things were and where I was at the time and where he was starting out and what it took just to get to the next unit. And he's like, no. I see where you're at, and I see where I'm starting from. I don't have the desire to put in, try to crunch 3 years of progress into 3 months. No.
You can't. You physically can't do that. That's the thing. I mean,
the only way to do it is financially, and it's not. It comes back to kick size failing at making it making a drive to actually be willing to do stuff like that. It's not motivational enough to be willing to expend that kind of funds
you'd need to spend like 20 grand to get anywhere near this level.
Well, it's not even just that. You have to do it, but you'd also have to wait for all those packages. And once you go through the incentive packages, what limited ones you would get, because once you start coining, they stop doing that kind of shit. Then you got to take off again, and then you got to wait for them to offer you something. You're not going to have the units, and there are units you can never get again. Or at least not for the long term. So it's not going to happen.
Yeah,
it's like when I really start at level 30.
Yeah, when I started playing on this account, I didn't have Onis, and I still don't have Onis. They've never been in the event store or in the gear store ever again. I really would like to have them, but they've only ever been offered in those offers where Kickstarter offered like all the old units.
Yeah,
and I'm not gonna pay them, so fuck them. Yeah, but I mean they should do some things where granted, it's I'd love it for them to put like an event out where there's just like you can buy anything. I'd go back and buy every fucking thing that was in the game.
The Last Nightmare was really good for that, for the kind of the current gen of tech and units. It was fun. They need to do a lot more of that though.
Yeah, I love the Nightmare event because it gave people an opportunity to get all those older heroes that are still somewhat useful in certain scenarios. And
that was very good, actually. That was one of the best moments of this year.
It was.
Well, on that note, I think we've pretty much talked that out to the deaths now.
Yeah, I apologize.
So I think we'll go ahead and wrap up. We'll throw some shout outs out there, and we'll get this shit done. So, Anton, since you're right at the end, we'll start with you. Can have a shout out, please, buddy?
Yep. Thanks for the invite there again, Phil, there, Nat. And thanks everybody Unshackled in the panel and everybody out on YouTube there. I think there's 48 still watching now, so fair play to you there. Shout out to Sherry there from 173. Good for coming along there. And good luck with everybody in the invasion. And any tips and tricks, throw them my way, please.
Yeah. Excellent. Phil, have you got any shout outs?
No.
No.
Yeah, I couldn't think of it.
Shout out to Ron Atkin.
Yeah, fucking Mr. Bean, you fucking awesome bastard. You guys in YouTube. Sorry.
Just to you guys on the panel and to YouTube, and special shout out for cookies.
Nice.
Okay.
Shout outs.
Yeah, shout out to the panel and shout out to YouTube, and appreciate you guys giving me an audience to vent my frustrations. I've had a lot of them the last few days, so appreciate that. Shout out to my Sector 173, my assholes, my rave family. That's it.
Excellent. King, have you got any shout outs? I shall take that silence as a no. Warrior, have you got any shout outs?
Oh, let's see. Shout out to YouTube. Shout out to everybody on the panel. Love being here as always. Shout out to my homies in 115. Love you guys. That's it for me. Shout out to you, Kix. Get your act together.
Okay, have you got any shout outs, buddy?
Yeah, I appreciate YouTube and the chat and people who help us keep on track and get us the reason for the shows. And I felt bad because I was talking to Jack about various things, and I definitely see the problems in the game. I'm not here to say there aren't problems. I definitely feel the problems. You guys are right on track with what they are. I'm hoping that we're looking for solutions, and we're trying to find ways to point it out that these are affecting us personally, and and it's making it difficult to play the game. So I definitely am not saying that that's not happening, because that is for me as well. So I appreciate the community and the panel, because they help me want to continue to play the game like so many others. So thank you all, including Phil, for always continuing to put this on every week. That's it's a lifesaver.
You have no idea. Ben, have you got shout outs?
Yeah, on behalf of the great King, shout out to all the farmers out there.
Noobs.
That's me.
No, and for me, shout out to all the panelists that have come and will come in the future. Thank you for joining these shows and giving Dr. Phil a reason to host them. Shout out to the public out there in YouTube land and on the Facebook pages. We appreciate you joining the Unshackled family, and we are a family, so we love all of you. Thanks for coming out.
Hit that like button.
Yeah, like, subscribe, and all that bullshit that those fucking YouTube douches who actually give a shit say. I don't say that because I figure if you're gonna like it, you're gonna like it. If you're gonna subscribe, you're gonna subscribe. If not, I'm not here to fucking suck up. So.
Excellent. Before I do my shout out, Skip's got a shout out. But I'm reading in my PMs and it's quite amusing. Shout out to DYNA in 139 for losing all of his hacked boss zombies. A shout out to Rashid for losing his tag and being a wannabe noob. And good luck with that. And a super sexy shout out. It sounds a bit weird coming from me, but I'm just going on exactly what she said. Shout out to Roy and Chad for helping her get her elite jokes. Not that they needed to be elite in the first place, but the extra attention is appreciated. Lots of love from Skipjack.
Her jugs are always Omega.
I declined to comment under the grounds that I might incriminate myself. And David, you don't get a shout out for jumping in 5 minutes before the fucking end.
Oh, come on. It was a good one.
Nope. You get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir. Please say stop, David.
But Doc.
Fuck you. My shout outs for this evening, I've got a few actually. I want to shout out to Kickside customer support for being as useless as ever. I want to give a shout out to the guy who let Wrong Thinker go on vacation.
Again?
Wrong Thinker goes on vacation for a week. The entire game goes to shit.
That's it. That's why it
Go
happened.
figure. The one guy, the one guy goes on vacation. Not that I'm saying he shouldn't get a vacation ever again.
Never.
Never.
But
Never.
he goes on vacation for a week and the whole game goes to shit. And one final thing is to my current best friend, who I say sarcastically. There are a few things that I need to make perfectly clear. The education system in the UK is completely different to the education system in America. I did not need to attend college before I attended university. I entered university at the tender age of 16. I graduated at the age of 21 in July of 2009. That makes me 21 years old. So you can shut your fucking mouth, quit PMing everybody you can get to try and turn somebody against me, suck a dick, go write some more bullshit on the forums that nobody gives a fuck about, because you like to call me a Dr. Knows Nothing. Well, I know a great deal more than you, because every time you try and put information out there for the general population, the information is wrong. The information about me was wrong. All the information that you've put out about Kixeye and all of their units was wrong. And all of the shit that you spout about other players that you just don't like are wrong. You come across to me as nothing more than a spoilt child who got bullied in school for all of his school years. And yet now, because you're a grown-ass 40-year-old man, you want to take that out on everybody else you can come across. Guess what, Sunshine? Doesn't work with me. I'm apparently the alcoholic. I've done this show completely sober every week for the last 9 months. And quite frankly, I've had enough of your shit. You no longer have the luxury to message me anywhere. You don't have the luxury of messaging me on Kixeye anymore. And to be quite frank, you are a bottom feeder. And you can continue sucking the shit off of the floor of the rest of the world as long as your miserable, pathetic life continues. Go fuck yourself and eat a dick. And that, as they say, ladies and gentlemen, is that. I want to thank you all very much for coming tonight. And we will see you next week, same time, same place, 7:30 Eastern Time. This has been War Commander Unshackled, and we're done.